What's up, guys? Welcome back. Welcome back. Glad you're here. On today's video, we're going to be doing another Q&A. That's right, I haven't done one of these in quite some time. I've been wanting to do one of these for a while. I kept pushing it back. I think I've tried to do this like 3 times now, but we're doing it, and that's all that matters. So, like I said, I posted a post on Instagram as well as YouTube asking you guys to have me answer any of your questions that you may have. You guys came back hard like always, and let's get into it. All right. Alright guys, so on my Q&A, I posted on both YouTube and on Instagram. You guys responded in a major way as always, so we're going to get into that now with some of the questions. So the first question comes from a friend of mine, Jesse the Fantastic Magician. He asks, what's the thing that most inspires you to keep making honest reviews and uploading YouTube videos, and is there ever a time you want to quit? Yes, actually. To answer the first part, when I first came into this, I seen a pocket that nobody was in, right? Nobody's doing 100% authentic, just brutal, honest reviews. It's not happening. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Many people are afraid of putting a pressure on relationships that they have with companies or designers or creators of whatever stature that might be, right? So they're afraid of losing that, right? And that's come back to bite me in my ass as well. You know, it's happened at least on 2 occasions. So, you know, it definitely happens with the territory. But at the same time, I pride myself in giving you guys that honesty. That's what you're here for. At least a percentage of it. So when I came into it, it was like, you know what? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be the first one, and I'm not saying that anybody out there isn't honest, but as far as 100% right out the gate, just guns blazing, no, not happening. I would say maybe 80%, you know, like David from Magic Orthodoxy. But I mean, other than that, you don't see it. Every deck is the reviewer's favorite, and oh, it's my favorite. Oh, it's my favorite. No, it's not. Stop. You're just kissing ass at that point. The next part of that, do you ever want to quit? Yeah, actually, it just happened recently. Probably a couple weeks ago. I really got into a little way of just being like, why do I do this? You know, why? And I found myself asking that question repetitively, you know, and it got to the point where it was just, I was just going to throw in the towel and just disappear, you know, because it comes to a point where you look at the space, right, and you see what everybody else is doing, and you go, how are they, or how is this person getting this kind of, you know, they're getting subscribers out the ass, they're doing this, their content isn't the greatest at all, and yet you're me putting out as high quality content as I can, you know, taking my time with shots and all this and that, and it's like it's almost like nobody's seeing the effort, or they're not seeing whatever the case, right? And it really puts a damper on it. It really does. So, you know, and I just had to kind of step back from it for a minute, you know, and kind of go, I do this for you guys, and that's what matters. F everything else, right? Nothing else matters but you guys. And that's what I had to finally kind of had to click, you know. So no worries, not going anywhere, at least as of right now. So, great question. Next question comes from Pimagia. He asks, what do you think about the cardistry and Magic community? Do you think it's toxic, and what do you see in the future? Yes, I think it's very toxic, actually. Very toxic. And here's the funny part, right? back to the honesty thing, right? I put a video up not too long ago and I took it down right after because of the hatred it got. And the reason it got hatred is because people couldn't understand the level of honesty that I had in that video. It was like a 35-minute video of just in your face, here it is. And people took everything way out of context. They took it as disrespect. They took it as whatever the case, right? And I got really bashed about it. And anyway, I took it down. I took it down for a couple other reasons that I'm not going to speak of. But people see honesty as a foreign language. They're not used to it, right? So when they hear it, they automatically take it as disrespect, or they take it as a bad thing. And that's not the case. You know, it's just like anything, you know. People who are not used to something, they kind of approach it like, very sketchy, right? And that's not what it was about. They're not used to hearing somebody that's going to straight up just be like, here you go. And that's what I do 100% of the time. So if you guys don't like it, you don't have to. Turn the channel. I don't care. But I'm going to keep doing this no matter what. But as far as the toxicity that's in this community, it's every man for themselves. Nobody wants to stick together. Nobody wants to help the next person. Nobody has a handout saying, hey, what do you need? Right? It's always something. You know, the cardistry community, these younger guys are against the magic guys who are considered the older echelon or whatever you want to call it. You know, it's crazy. Everybody has something to say, but yet they can't get it back. You know, quick to dish it, can't take it back. It's crazy to me. You know, it's almost like high school again, right? It's very cliquey. You know, you have the cool kids, the jocks, the athletes, the dorks, you know what I'm saying? It's really cliquey, and I don't like it. And to go into the next question with that is, what do you see in the future? I see it going in great place. It's just we got to get out of this little rut that we're in. And push through it and just really bear down, you know, especially in a time right now where we're faced with such a challenge of, you know, this pandemic and everything going on. It's more of a reason for us to all come together, or else we're not going to make it out of it. And we need to do that not only in everyday life, but just in whatever it is that you love. Especially if you love this community, prove it, show it. Don't just act like it, and then when the camera's off, you're, you know, on blogs and whatever else talking shit. You can't do that, you know? And it gets ugly sometimes. And it's not even just the influencers, the creators, the magicians, the cardists, the whoever. It's also the community in a whole. You know, these people, they pride themselves on being Inspector Gadget and going on post and being like, oh, I've seen what you did there. And I've talked about this before. You know, it's just like, enjoy the magic, man. Enjoy whatever you're watching. Take it in. Enjoy it. We're here to entertain. That's what we do, right? And it's like, if you take that portion out of it and you're Mr. Detective, it's like, why? What do you gain out of that? Nothing at all. Nobody's gonna go, give him a prize, give him a trophy. It's just not gonna happen. So let's just stop with the stuff, guys. Anyway, next question comes from Isaac_greater good. He says, what led you to first start YouTube, and were you a cardist or magician before? What led me to start YouTube? This kind of goes back to the first question. I originally was going to do a gaming channel, and then I kind of as quick as it came, it kind of went. And then I said, I really love cards. I love magic. I've enjoyed magic for the last 25 years. I mean, I've said this on my last Q&A. I went and seen David Copperfield live when I was like 11 years old. The experience was just, I'll always remember it, right? So when I came into it, I started, you know, scrounging YouTube, going down the rabbit hole, so to speak, and seeing what exactly was around. And then I came across reviews and I said, man, that would be awesome. I love cards very much. And there's nobody doing, it seems like everybody loves the decks. Everybody's talking nothing but goodness about these decks. Every deck cannot be that good. It can't be the same. There's no way. And I seen it. And it was like a niche little area, like I said. And I did it. I went full speed ahead. didn't look back, and I haven't since, and I don't plan on it. You know, I even reached out to David from Magic Orthodoxy, actually, speaking of which, and I asked him for his blessings, pretty much. Told him, you know, you inspired me to do this, and he did. And, you know, he pretty much was like, yeah, man, go ahead. And actually, I believe David was my first comment on my YouTube channel ever, on my first video, saying, you know, he can't wait to see the channel blow up and do what it does. So shouts out to David from Magic Orthodoxy. Much respect. The next question comes from Sir Croupier. He says, what do you think about the future of playing card stocks? A thin deck will become a standard deck? ? Actually, I think it already has become a standard deck. The thinner decks, everybody's doing crushed, right? Everybody. Crush stock, crush stock, crush stock, crush stock, crush stock, crush stock, crush stock. And it's like, I think it has. I mean, you see, once in a while, you see that outlier deck, that thicker deck, you know, and it's usually from the same people, you know, the OPCs, the Nox, they usually stray away from doing the crush style decks. And as far as, and also too, I like either one of them. I prefer a thinner deck, but I also appreciate a thicker style deck. You know, it's all about the muscle memory, what feels good in the hands and stuff like that. It all depends on how I feel that day. But I do appreciate a thinner stock deck for sure. So yeah. But the first part of that, the future of playing cards. It looks great, man. You know, and Magic in general. But excuse me, we're constantly seeing advances in technology, which also then comes to the forefront of whatever it is that we're doing. You know, years ago, Jackson Robinson, for instance, couldn't print a holographic foil on a deck. Now here he is, years later, printing a holographic foil on a deck, you know, to redo his one of his biggest decks to date, you know. And it's just like, things like that are going to constantly keep happening, you know, these different advances, and I think sky's the limit at that point. You know, we've seen it in Magic already, you know, the different technologies coming forth, making it a little bit more expensive for us as, you know, the consumer to purchase, but still, you know, it's going to be good. I see good things. All right, the next question comes from Card Perfect Magician. He asks, what other hobbies and talents do you have? Not so much anymore. I used to play basketball, was on a high school team for a year, won a bunch of trophies, first place, second place in foul shooting when I was younger. I'm really heavy into art, been an artist my entire life. Yeah, that's really it, man. I do a lot of stuff. Work on cars. I've done a lot of stuff in my life, a lot of different jobs, so on and so forth. But like I said, as of right now, the only thing I do is Magic, cards, and art, you know. So, and I'm definitely working on a couple new decks, and yeah, I'm hoping to have those out in the next couple months, hopefully, at least one of them. So, yeah. The next question comes from DVenom321. What's up, buddy? He says, top 3 favorite decks of 2020 and explain why. Top 3 2020. We're 6 months in, pretty much, almost. I would probably say, and I can't put them in direct order except for the first one, that would be my number one. That'd be the Jerry's, the modern Jerry's, 100% favorite deck. It's my unicorn. I wish I had an original Jerry's deck. I want one so bad, so bad, so bad, so bad. Yes. Anyway, sorry. But anyway, the modern Jerry's. Even though they went on Kickstarter last year, they printed this year, so you know what? I don't care. I'm getting away with it. That's what we're doing. So yeah, the modern Jerry's number one. I would probably have to put the remedies up on that. I really enjoyed that deck. You know, a lot of people thought I bashed it when it first came out. Speaking back on that video I was talking about that I took down, I wasn't bashing it at all. I was just mad at the shipping and all that kind of stuff, and not even mad at the shipping. I was mad at the communication about the shipping. That's what it was. And people once again took that out of context. All the trolls, as always, but whatever. So the remedies, really like that deck. Can't put it down a lot. And I would probably say the juice joints, man. I really enjoy that deck. Something about that deck is just amazing. The way it feels. I like how it's, kind of paying homage to the Silver Nuggets. If you haven't seen my review on them, go ahead and check it out on the channel after this. Great deck. So those would probably be my top three right now. The Jerry's Moderns, the Remedies, and the Juice Joints by Doc's Playing Cards. Yeah. Next question comes from Cardaholic. Great name. You mentioned you were a healthcare worker. What is it you do in the healthcare profession? I'm not going to tell you guys what company I work for because I don't need people calling my work, and I just, but basically what I do is I take specialty beds, bariatric beds, pulmonary, different stuff for skincare, everything. All these different beds, I deliver them to patients personally, get them positioned on the bed, do walk through with the staff, the nursing staff, doctors, whoever. I work one-on-one with 37 different hospitals throughout Northeast Ohio, Pennsylvania and whatnot. And I get patients more comfortable, for whatever it is that they face on their challenges while they're in the hospital. Get them as comfortable as they can be. So, I work one-on-one, like I said, with nurses, doctors, patients, everything. And it's a very scary thing with what's happening right now. I deal with it every single day, sometimes multiple times a day, taking COVID positive patients their beds, removing beds from COVID positive patients that are either still there, passed on unfortunately, or they discharged thankfully. So it's definitely takes a toll on you mentally and physically. So I've been doing that for about a year now. So all right, the next question, these are now going to be the ones that were on the YouTube portion of the Q&A. Like I said, I posted both on Instagram and YouTube. The first one comes from my buddy Chris, Deckhead. He says, do you think USPC was still printing a certain amount of people's decks when they were supposedly closed down because of the shutdown? Yes, I do actually. I actually heard that they were doing printing as of 2 weeks ago. And today is May 19th. So do the math on that. And it also makes sense. A lot of people were still receiving decks that they were putting out. And it just, everything adds up. I don't think it was for everybody. I think it was only the big hitters, the Murphys, the bigger name creators and influencers and stuff, the Pandreas and whoever else. Just to kind of stay ahead of the game, and also to cater to those people that are constantly printing decks. That's their big money people, so it all makes sense for sure. And I don't think it's a bad thing. Cardamonity was still running full speed ahead, so not too far-fetched. Next question comes from Leopold McCake. He says, what are your top 5 favorite decks and why? Man, it's hard not to think about. I'll kind of give you a brief synopsis of my top 5. Modern Jerry's, Innocence deck by Daniel Snyder, regular standard bikes, usually gold standards by Richard Turner, probably, but any standards for that matter. The Red Roses, another amazing deck by Daniel Snyder, and that's a toughie. That's a tough question. I don't know what number 5 would be offhand. Like I said, not being able to being put on the spot. And like I said, I didn't think about this before I did this. This is all, right now, right here. There's so many great decks out there. It's a really hard decision. Whether it be the ECAT Fox deck, whether it be, man, there's a lot of decks. So I'll give you 4. that's my 4. Man. Oh no, I'm sorry. Wow, no. Cherry Casinos. Cherry Casinos. Wow. Oh my goodness. Yes, Cherry Casinos. Probably one of the best decks made series-wise and in general. So yeah, Cherry Casinos. Actually, speaking of which, Pure Imagination Projects, shout out to Derek McKee. I'm actually part of Pure Imagination Projects now. I'm on the team. I'm actually promoting a new Kickstarter that's going to be starting up actually tomorrow, the 20th of May. So if you guys are watching this, please do go ahead and check out Kickstarter and check out the El Retro deck. There's a couple great add-ons, one of them being a red edition, the Reno Red, same as the Reno Red Cherry Casinos. That's one of the add-ons after a 4,000 benchmark that we hit. And yeah, and like I said, you know, shout out to Derek McKee for allowing me to come and be a part of such a great company and to help kind of push things to another level. You know, not that he couldn't do it, but you know, he does everything by himself, and you know, it was time to kind of get a team together, and that's what he's doing. So you know, definitely appreciate being able to be part of a company that I just look up to like none other. So yeah, big news for sure. The next question comes from Piggy T3. What's up, buddy? Why does anyone worldwide even exist? Shaking my head. Hashtag can't stand. Hashtag hype brands. Always honest. Piggy T's always honest. I love it. I love it. Good man. I agree and I disagree at the same time. I disagree because I respect every brand, right? Let's be honest. I'm not a hater. I'm not saying you are, Piggy, but I think there's a space for everybody, right? But, huge but here, okay? With that said, the one thing that I've been very voiceful on is the price range of their decks. One deck, $28. Crazy. And the reason being is because they rape you in prices for shipping. $10 in the US starting. One deck. Why? I know my friend Henry at SoCal Playing Cards can send the same decks for $3.95. Why is it 10 for them? They're upcharging the pricing on the shipping, and I think it's ridiculous. You know, you're charging $18 for a deck. 18. That's crazy. You know, these companies are really hurting the playing card industry when you're charging over $15 for a regular deck of cards. Half of these decks aren't even on premium stock. Half of these decks aren't even traditionally cut. You know, it's like half of these over half, probably 90% of these decks don't even have foil or anything, you know, no custom tuck boxes from Clove Street Press or whoever. You know, it's not mad, it's just a regular classics tuck box. So it's like you can't warrant that $18 price tag when it's really a $10 or $8 deck. That's the problem. And it's just like, it's crazy to me, you know, it's literally robbery at that point, you know, $28 for one deck of cards. Really? You know, and I get it. There's a space, like I said before. I respect it because there's a space for it, but at the same time, it's like, why? Why? The last deck they put out had a dot on it. $28 for a gray back, black dot deck. Why? You know what I mean? I don't know. It makes no sense to me. It really doesn't. I think if they drop the decks to 15, did actual pricing for shipping where it was actually $4, $5, $6 tops to the US, they would make, not that they're struggling to make money, but I think it would make it a little bit more fair for people to buy. You know, a lot of people want those decks, but they can't afford them. I mean, that's a lot of money to commit for one deck of cards when they can go spend 10 or 12, for instance, $12 on a deck of Jerry's, modern Jerry's that are on the web press, that are crush stock, that are traditionally cut, that feel like the best deck you'll ever touch, that warrants that $12 price tag that, excuse me, could get away with getting 15 or more if they really wanted to, but they don't. That deck is worth every penny. 18? No, not at all. Sorry, not happening. Thank you for the question. Kevin Goosey asks, what got you into card collecting and or Magic? When is the next Paradigm going to be released? And I've seen a 5 favorite deck questions, so I'm going to then ask, what's your top 3 to 5 deck collections and or designer? First one, what got you into collecting or Magic? I talked about this in my last Q&A. Like I said earlier, I also went and seen David Copperfield live when I was 11, 25 years ago. Man, I'm old. And I was hooked. I kind of dabbled into Magic here and there after that, every so on years, I don't even know, in between. And then as of, 4 years ago or whatever, I kind of just was like, this is what I want to do. And I did it. So, the second part of that question, when is the next Paradigm going to be released? I don't know. So Paradigm is officially going to be the name of the card company as well. But the next deck I'm working on right now is a very, very beautiful, elegant, minimalistic Magic style deck. So it's gonna really kind of, be a tribute directly to workers that are out there, kind of like a Red Roses type feel, a standard Riderback feel, the Arcos, kind of that type of aesthetic. It's going to be an EDC style deck. I'm aiming for a $8 price range on the Kickstarter when it happens, because I want everybody to have a fair chance at getting their hands on this. I plan on hopefully doing it in 2 colorways as well. It's going to be good, don't worry. So yeah, so as far as the Paradigms, those are probably, I'm aiming for probably not this deck, not the next one, but the third. So probably 3 decks from now. Yeah, but it's going to come. I've seen your 5 favorite deck questions. Favorite collectors or designer? There's a lot of great designers out there. Just to name a few, a good friend of mine, Destino. He did the Maddie the Magician deck. He did the, what's the name of that deck I reviewed? The Kings. Murphy's did it. Kings and Legacy deck. He just did a deck with Delt Company. They just finished on Kickstarter, hugely successful. Can't wait to get my hands on them, printed through Cardamonity. The Royal Verge deck, beautiful deck of cards, Oh, anyway, Mark Stutzman, the guy that did a lot of, the majority of the David Blaine decks. Adrian Valenzuela, Rick Davidson. I mean, there's so many great designers out there. Those are just to name a few that I really appreciate and get behind. Rick Davidson did the Cobra deck. He did I think it was the Mandala Lux decks. Adrian Valenzuela, who was responsible for a lot of great decks, whether it be, the Chris Ramsey Memento Moris, both the regular and NSX. He also did Riffle Shuffles one deck, or not one deck, they did the 2 different ones. I can't remember the name offhand, but he's done a lot of great decks as well. Like I said, great designers out there. Lorenzo from Stockholm 17. Dude, the list goes on. Great people out there. Great talent. And also Daniel Snyder. Come on, Luke Wadey. There's really not a bad designer. That's the thing about it, is it's not a bad designer. It's the cards, right? It's whatever. Everybody has their own style, right? Everybody has their own, oh, that's a beautiful deck. It's almost like movies, right? Everybody has their own way of looking at stuff. Somebody can go watch a movie and say, dude, that movie was trash, bro. Do not even waste your money. You can go see it and think it's the greatest movie produced this year or ever. It just all depends. Like they say, beauty's in the eyes of the beholder. So it's all about what you think, so that's the best part. This community is so just filled with a vast amount of creativity and just a large amount of options. It's like, it's crazy. I've never seen something like it, and I love it at the same time. So, great question. Deckhead asks once again, what is the real story of the Jerry's Nuggets? Why did the red vintage decks get pulled? I like this. Why did Expert let Riffle Shuffle print the Jerry's deck, and what decks are printed on the web press? Good question. God. The only decks that were printed on the web press from the Jerry's were the moderns, the red and blue moderns. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Let's shut it down here. I've seen a lot of people that think they know what they're talking about, and boy, I don't know why they keep opening their mouths, because they don't know shit. Stop talking about stuff you don't know about. The vintage red and blues were printed by Expert with the JN finish on their presses in Taiwan. Okay, the coral, the teal, and the King's Wild were all printed on the sheet-fed press, the regular presses at USPC, because they didn't print enough to print on the web press. Okay, that's directly right here. See the emails from Thea Kwan from Expert Playing Cards directly. Same with the pink rose decks that were just printed from Riffle Shuffle. To get into the next question, also on the sheet press. That's it. 2 decks were printed on the web, period. And just so you guys know, also to clarify, to use the web press, it's a fee, and you have to print 10,000 plus decks. That's it. Each roll prints up to 11,000, I believe. Okay, and they account for decks, that are messed up in that. That's the reason why it's 11, not 10 directly, because when you print through USPC, you have to account for a 10% overage or a 10% loss. Not going to get into all the details about it because it's a lot, but the reason, like I said, the web press with the paper, it prints 10,000 decks no matter what, and that's what it has to be. They can't stop it and nope, let's use the paper on another deck. No, it's 10,000, period. So that they print 11,000 decks on a roll, and like I said, they account for messed up decks, whatever, machine, calibration, stuff like that. Things can go wrong. I worked for printing companies before. Things happen. So that's what they do. Why did they let Riffle Shuffle print? I don't know. I think it's a money grab, to be honest. The deck sold out in, I think, less than 24 hours or right over. Now the deck's on eBay going for double the price. I mean, it's a little excessive. It really is. They're ruining a legacy at this point, and then also the day after, 2 days after, then they announce, oh, there's 3 more colors. So if you're not familiar, they also dropped the mustard yellow, the black, and the steel gray exclusive to Murphy's. They just keep releasing colors, and it's like, come on guys, why didn't we just stick to the red and blue? Keep the tradition going. Now it's almost ruined. I don't know. Don't get me wrong, I will always love the Jerry's as my number 1, but damn, come on, let's get it together. Why did the red vintage get pulled? You guys might not want to know this or might not want to hear it, but that was all me. Little FYI. Bet you didn't know that, did you? I reached out to Thea Kwan once again, my connection over at Expert, when I noticed these issues with the red decks bleeding, and literally within 24 hours they issued a statement to pull all red decks. You can ask people like Henry at SoCal. I reached out to him before anything was announced and told him to beware and what's about to happen, and yeah, that's just what it is, guys. I did that. And I know, like I said, you guys can claim whatever you want. Oh, he's a liar. No, I'm not. I have no reason to lie. It don't make me a better person. It don't make me better than you. I'm just telling you the truth. That's all. So that's why. The next question comes from Dark Venom. How do you handle the haters? Brush them off, bro. Brush them off. Brush them off. No. You just do. Block them. Delete them. That usually pisses them off more than anything, and I love it. I love it. Kill them with kindness, man. Tell them, oh, you're so cute when you're mad. Stuff like that. I just love being an asshole to haters. I don't like trolls. I don't like haters. I don't like any of it. It's so uncalled for. You just got to do what you got to do, man. And I don't entertain it. I really don't. I don't. I'll laugh at you, and then I'll delete and block you. So You can get mad all you want. I'm allowed to do what I want. It's my channel. Next question comes from Deckhead again. A lot of great questions here. Please answer this. Cardamonity with their B9 and E7. Illusionist puts on their boxes. It's stock, but yet isn't it the finish? What's that there? Or what's what here? Also, why does Illusionist put what I call misinformation on the box, using words like smooth finish and air cushioned on their Cardamonity decks like the cohorts? Answer this. If anyone knows, you would know, because I know you will not be afraid to go to the source and get the facts. You're right, because I did. That's right. A while back, I actually went to Cardamonity personally and got the skinny, so to speak, on it. Anyway, so I hear a lot of people always saying, the B9, I wish I had a B9 deck. The B9 decks were so good. They were the best. Well, guess what? They never went anywhere. That's right. The B9 has always been there. It's never went anywhere. The B9 is the finish, the true linen finish, guys. Stop talking once again about stuff you don't know. Okay? And also, and like I said, I got proof right here. And also, if you keep reading, they talk about the Illusionist situation. The E7 is Illusionist's own wording or lettering, whatever you want to call it. That's their way of defining what the old B9 decks are and the new B9, or the new stock, so to speak, from the thicker to the thinner slimline. Okay? The paper stock is what company went bankrupt, which is why now Cardamonity uses and utilizes the slimline, which is why the decks are super thin now and a lot more better, to me personally. So that's how they kind of, know what decks are the older decks that are thicker versus the thinner on the new stock. But they're all B9. Even if it says E7, that's Illusionist. E is for Illusionist. 7, I don't know what the 7's for. I didn't ask them directly. But like I said, the proof is in the pudding. You've seen the email directly from Jeers at Cardamonity. The B9 has never went anywhere. Period. So let's put that to bed. And also, like I said, the E7 is nothing. It's not, oh, this deck is thin, so it's on the E7. There's not on an E7. There's not on the B9. The B9 is not the stock, guys. It says directly on there, on the True Linen B9 finish. That's the finish, not the stock. Stock is the paper. Finish or embossing is what gives the pockets and the all that stuff. So, good? We're good? You good? You good? You good? You good? Okay. Making sure. The misinformation on the cohorts, yeah, I don't know why they put air cushioned on there. It's almost like they just wanted to, because it's not air cushioned. I mean, technically, I guess it could be, depending on how you look at it, but it's not actually air cushioned. And it doesn't say air cushion, it says air cushioned, because I believe they would get sued for using that verbiage, because that's USPC's trademark on their boxes and what they call, their embossed finish, which we'll get into here in a minute, because I also see a question here that's great, and it goes into the next one he asked. Chris also asks, please put the rest the stocks and finishes debate. Some people say USPC has a ton of stocks and finishes. Some say there's only 2. Lots of different info out there. What's the truth? What's the facts? I want to know it all. Also, what do you know about the web press? Which we already talked about the web press. So, for you guys that don't know this, okay? And I'm going to read this directly from USPC, okay? Because I like facts here. Like I said, I always keep it honest, don't I? So, for the ones, and you know who you are, you're probably watching this right now, okay? There are only 2 stocks and 2 finishes, okay? That's it, period. That's it. That is it, guys. 2 stocks, 2 finishes, okay? So, here is what it says, okay? You guys ready for this? There are classic stock, which is what, 95, Okay, look, I'm posting it here so you guys can read it. This is directly from USPC. This is the first email I got. Then the other portion that I'm posting is going to show you the breakdown through the USPC stuff you get when printing a deck that gives you the breakdown of everything. So this is directly from USPC. This is facts. There's no debating this. 2 stocks. Classic paper, which 95% of decks are printed on, okay? Regular bicycles, stuff like that, okay? Red roses were printed on a classic stock. There's a lot of decks. Majority of decks, 95% is their wording of decks are printed on this. The next one is your premium B stock, okay? Premium stock. B decks, my deck was printed on a premium stock. There's a 5% of decks are printed on this stock because, of course, it's an upcharge, you know? That's it. That's it. That's the only stocks there is. Premium and classic. Done. 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 Finito. Finished. Fin. Whatever you want to call it. Then, when it comes to finishes, there's technically only 3. 2, but we'll count plastic as the third. So, as far as the finishes, there are air cushioned. Okay? Also known as embossed, also known as cambric, also known as linen, magic finished, linoid, performance coating. All of that is all air cushion. It's right there. All of it. Every little thing is air cushion finish, period. Because if it's not, then it's only one other thing or 2. Like I said, plastic is one of them, right? Which technically isn't really a finish, but we'll count it anyway. But the other one is smooth finish, also marketed as ivory, you know? The gold juice joints were on this. The Maddie the Magician decks are printed on this. There's a lot of other decks that are printing on it. Great stock. I'm debating putting my deck's deck on it because I like ivory finish or smooth finish. That's it. That's it. 2 and 2. Or 3, like I said, if you want to count plastic. But that's it, guys. That is it. I've been hearing one particular person in general tried to say that there was 30 stocks and finishes. You're in the wrong field, my guy. Anyway, so like I said, that's to bed. That's to rest. That's it, guys. Okay? Period. 2 and 2. 2 stocks, classic and premium. 2 finishes, or 3. 2 finishes, ivory or smooth, and then air cushion, which is marketed as embossed, linoid, cambric, magic finish, performance coating, whatever you want to call it, true linen. All that is all air cushion. That's it. It's just a fancy way of them saying air cushion. That's it. Done. Okay. Sorry. Just had to get that out. I've been wanting to talk about this for quite some time. And finally, I can. All right. Last question, guys. Last question comes from Steve-O Magician. He says, bit of a tricky one here. Do you think that if all of us wrote a letter to USPC to fix the borders on playing cards, they will listen? He said, I know it can't just be me who's noticed these borders, man. And no matter what the deck or brand you get, it can be pretty awful at times. If they respond with they can't alter the outcome, then I'm not buying them no more. Because Cardamonity don't seem to have this issue. I've never opened a bad one. So if Cardamonity can do it with perfect borders, then what the hell is going on over at USPC? You're right. You're exactly right. Now, I don't know if exactly writing USPC would change anything. It might, though. It very well might. You know, there's websites for this. You know, change.org is a big one, probably the biggest one. You know, you can get enough signatures on a petition to submit it to USPC to say, hey, what the hell's going on here? Because you're exactly right. Us as consumers, we buy these decks at prices. I don't care if it's $3. These decks are supposed to be perfect, but especially for the decks that people are paying $15, $20, $30, $40, $50, $100, $300, $500, $600 for, that's on the long end of it. That's, you know, after retail. But even $15, $12, $15, $18, $20, that's a lot to spend on a deck of cards that's not perfect. That's crooked as hell. And we see this more and more, especially lately. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And you're right. I've never seen a Cardamonity deck printed with bad registration either. It's just they're always perfect, right? They might have some issues with their cellophane, but hey, that's nothing, right? In hindsight. The point is, you're right. It's bad. It's really bad. Now, I don't want to say, boycotting them and not buying the decks anymore, but I mean, because you're only really hurting yourself at that point. If you want to strictly buy Cardamonity, then yeah, hell yeah. I'm actually going to be working on a video very soon that's in the making, a USPC versus Cardamonity deck analysis, kind of the better side of which is which, what's better, what's blah blah. Even though they're on the same team now, still the decks are very different. Okay. But anyway, yeah, so I think if you do a change.org kind of petition and submit that around throughout the community, they might do it. I do know, I did talk to Richard Turner. He went and spoke with Mike Slaughter down at USPC personally, who is the president of USPC, and they were talking about a lot of things. If you don't know Richard Turner, he's worked for USPC alongside them as one of their head of the quality assurance department, making sure decks are where they need to be, right? He's the king of playing cards. I'm sorry. The guy's a beast, right? Look him up if you don't know who he is. He's just an animal. But anyway, so I don't know if that's one of the things that they were talking about. He didn't get into details. I have no idea, but I have a feeling that's hopefully one of the things we'll see here soon, hopefully. But yeah, it is bad. It's really bad. So yeah. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this, man. This was fun. I really like doing these Q&As, man. A lot of good information out there. I hope you guys really got a lot out of this. I do these Q&As for not only me because I like doing them, but also doing for you. I encourage you guys to really ask anything that you want, for a reason, because I want to answer it. I want to give that to you. I want to give it out to the world. The great questions like the stocks and finishes and stuff like that. This is stuff that should be known throughout the community, and when you have people that are supposed to know what they're talking about and don't, clearly giving in this bad information and misrepresenting what the truth is, that's bad, because then that gets spread throughout the community and then it's all false information, and you can't do that. Another reason why I pride myself on honesty. So, but yeah, we're definitely going to do another one of these. Part 3 will be coming very soon, hopefully in the next coming months. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Also, if you stuck along this far into the video, you're going to be greeted with a great surprise. That's right, I'm going to be implementing something new on the channel here that I think you'll enjoy. That's right, we're going to be doing monthly giveaway. One monthly giveaway. That's right. You say, well, what's the details? So the way this is going to go down is simple. All of my videos within the month, if you can name the one thing in my background that changed, and I'm going to start keeping the background the same, just so you guys know, so that way you can determine what changed, right? So you can look at this background right now and see, and that's what it is. So keep that image in your mind. If you can name, before anybody, the one thing that I either added, altered, whatever the case, in a video throughout the whole month, it's going to be in one video. That's it. One video in that whole month that I did something different in that background. You get a free deck of cards sent to you. That's right. A free deck. Doesn't matter. Free deck of cards. So keep that in mind. So we're going to implement this starting next month. So in the month of June, if you can name the one thing, like I said, and you can get to me before anybody, whether you DM me on Instagram, send me an email, DM me on Twitter. I'm not on Facebook, so that's a no-no. But yeah, however you can get that message to me and say what it is that I changed, and you're the first one, you'll get a deck of cards sent to you. No problem. So I figured it's a little cool, little incentive, a little game for you guys to play as well. Kind of mix it up a little bit as always. That's what I like to do. So yeah. And then also we're still going to do giveaways, but that's like a monthly thing that we're going to do just to kind of, like I said, give back to you guys a little bit. So, and have some fun with it. Okay, so thank you guys for watching this entire video. If so, like I said, leave a comment below what kind of videos you guys want to see. If you guys want to see more stuff like this, like I said, tutorials, whatever the case, name some decks you guys want to see coming up next on the channel, or whatever. If you just want to say hi, I'm here. And yeah, and if you like this video, as always, you know what to do. Smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you beautiful people.